Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in this video. So in my last video on the position of Venus in the Navamsha chart, I got a few requests asking me to cover all the planets in different houses of the Navamsha. So taking that request into consideration, I am starting this series where I'll be covering each of the other planets in different positions in the Navamsha chart. And we'll start with the Sun. And before we go, this is going to be a two video series where we'll be covering the first six houses of the Navamsha chart containing the Sun. And then in the next video of this series, we'll be looking at the remaining six houses. Okay. And before we get into the main topic, kindly subscribe to the channel, like the content if you find it useful, and please share it with your friends and family if you think they are going to benefit from this content. Okay. So the sun is the king of the solar system. It is, in fact, the Karaka of Vedic astrology. And even in Jyotish, the sun is referred to as the king in the cabinet of planets. And on the earth plane, the sun is the source of prana, light and life energy. And in Vedic astrology, the sun denotes our Atma or the soul, the biological father, as well as the divine light of the soul. That means the divine guidance that we receive from the Almighty. And Navamsha, remember, this has to be studied and analyzed as a separate chart, just like the D1 chart or the Rashi chart or the Lagna chart. And all the principles, all the analysis techniques are the same. So you can study the Navamsha as a standalone chart as well to determine how your life is going to be after marriage. Okay. And the D9 chart, as the Navamsha is popularly known as, it is a very important tool in understanding and determining the marital life, the happiness as well as the status of a native. And as always, I often tell my students as well as my clients that you can, there are a lot of astrologers out there who stress on how important Saturn is and how important Jupiter is. But in reality, the sun is the most important planet in Vedic astrology because it relates to the self. Okay. And as a result, the sun must be placed in all the divisional charts, including the D1 chart or the Lagna chart. Okay. So if the sun goes to the first house of the Navamsha chart, it is going to greatly influence the native's morale, mind, identity, and ambitions. And remember, sun is going to give you a deep sense of morality and ethics, righteousness, as well as great life goals. So if you have this placement, then you are going to enjoy optimistic frame of mind, and you'll try to find your fame in everything you do. And the sun is going to elevate your self-esteem, but at the same time it is also going to elevate your ego. Okay, so as an individual you might be inclined to make influential friends in the society. And I've seen people having this placement that they are very keen on choosing their spouse from a very powerful and wealthy family, and these people are usually very insightful and determined whenever it comes to doing something. Okay. So on the flip side, this sun in the first house of the Navamsha can actually make these natives very self-centered, sharp-tongued, and filled with boundless selfishness. Okay. So if the sun is afflicted, for example, let's say if the sun is placed in Libra, in that case it can cause a lot of adverse effects on the personality. Okay, these people will be hardly ready to listen to others or help others and would be very competitive. That can often lead to negative emotions like jealousy and hate. Okay. Now, if the sun goes to the second house of the Navamsha chart, then it results in an increase in family wealth, power in the society and authority after marriage. Okay. And such a native or even the spouse of such a native will be successful in politics as well as the armed forces department. Okay. And these natives usually will inherit a great deal of money and wealth through their spouse or mother or even through your siblings. Okay. And if you have this placement, then apart from you, the main beneficiaries would be your elder siblings. Okay. Now, even if the sun is debilitated, let's say the sun is placed in Libra, in that case also it is going to bless the native with a lot of fortune. But then there could be some arguments related to funds, bank accounts or assets. And you know if you have this placement, then on the negative side, the health of your mother could be a cause of great concern, or even the health of someone close in the maternal family can bring a host of domestic issues. Okay, so these people, they have a deep wealth of knowledge, and that can also lead to issues resulting in a lot of pride as well as impatience. Okay, if the sun goes to the third house of the Navamsha, then this is a beneficial placement. Remember, sun, the third house is one of the Upachaya Bhavas. Okay, just a minute. And if someone has the sun in the third house, then these such a person would be very knowledgeable, wise as well as highly skilled. And the native will be, will be very creative, a born leader, and very artistic by nature. Okay, and these people, they usually receive a lot of gains through the government as well as extended family, especially the father-in-law. Okay, and I've seen these people's father-in-law, they are usually from a very authoritative position, and that actually helps to elevate the native's career. Okay, and remember, the third house is also one of the trika houses. Okay, so this third house placement of the sun in the Navamsha can make the native courageous, a born leader as well as a very supportive sibling in the family. Okay, and for people having this placement, if you are not rich by your 30s, then don't worry, your late 40s will bring a lot of riches and recognition from the government and other similar sources. Okay, now on the flip side, I've seen these people suffer from a very dull and hapless married life. Okay, and these people usually might have to work really, really hard on themselves to achieve simple joys in their married life. Okay, what if the sun goes to the fourth house? Remember, the sun becomes dikshunya, or it loses its directional strength in the fourth house. Okay, so such a native may be very dominant and over authoritative in marital life, and there could be trivial ego issues with your partner. Okay, so from the fourth house, the sun is going to aspect the 10th house, so that gives them some amount of success in their profession. And usually, these people, they will do really, really good if they shift overseas and start your own business or even start a job there. Okay, and remember, the sun is going to impart eclectic desire to spend primarily on their house or their home. So these people would love to live in a huge mansion with a very unique architecture. Remember, sun is the king. And this placement also indicates that such a native is going to possess a strong desire towards family and society. And such a native wants to be liked by all, and while growing up, they would do anything to be likable to others. Okay, so this can result in making them a people's person and service oriented, right? And this placement of sun can actually make the native fail to understand real enemies or weed out negative influences. So that is a negative part of this placement, right? Now, if sun goes to the fifth house of the Navamsha, now remember, fifth house is all about Purva Punya and past life experiences. So, you know, the placement of the sun in this house can make the native highly conscious about looks, your reputation, and health. And such a native will have a righteous streak and would be naturally interested in politics and finances. Okay, so the fifth house of Navamsha also represents your skills, right? The skills from your past life. So the sun in the fifth house can make the native possess innate skills in music or playing a musical instrument. Alternative medicines like Siddha or Ayurveda or even holistic healing. And these natives, they can invoke creativity, intelligence, and a sense of pride in their spouse and children. And usually, professional success comes late to these natives, but I've seen these people achieve great professional laurels in their late 50s. Okay. Now, displacement also comes with its own set of problems. So it can make the native lack intelligence or power in choosing their marital partner, and they may face a lot of embarrassment through the action of their spouse or their children. And if you have this placement, then be careful, because the starting years of your marital life or the last few years of your marital life can bring you a lot of troubles. Okay. Now, the sixth house of Navamsha, it indicates life challenges, life choices, wellness, and health. And the sun in the sixth house of the Navamsha chart makes the native achieve extraordinary victory over enemies of the native or their family members. Okay, so these people, they bring honor and respect to their family, and their childhood glories, profession, marriage, everything is going to contribute to the pride of their family. And remember, sun is in the sixth house can bring the native to become a good politician with charisma that attracts, a lot of followers on the mass scale. Now, if the sun is placed in a friendly sign in the sixth house, then it can actually accentuate the blessings. Otherwise, if the sun is debilitated or if the sun is in an enemy sign in the sixth house, then such a native may fall prey to ego and pride. So it could also mean that the native will face many heartbreaks as well as breakup failures, all through their dating phase by failing to find a match by themselves. Okay, so at the end, they may have to marry someone through their family with which they have frequent fights, and their extended family, I mean, with their extended family as well as maternal relationships like uncles or grandparents. Okay, so this was all about the sun in the Navamsha chart. We have covered today till the sixth house, and in the next video of this series, we are going to look at the remaining houses of the sun's placement in the Navamsha chart. If you want a consultation regarding your chart, please reach out at the number provided in the description box, and I'll see you soon. Namaste. Om Guruve Namaha.